I think true friendship is like family. I call it, it's like just extended family, actually. Yeah. And that's what I think of it, as family.
Without being sloppy, it's about love. About people you really love and care about and wanting to see them and be with them.
If you think for a second, if you didn't have that person as a friend in your life, would your life have been very much different?
My mum and dad sent me to Italia Conti. While I was there, they said, why don't you do an acting class? So I did a singing class and a tap class, and I then did an acting class. And by the time I was 11 or 12, I played Curly in Peter Pan. I started in 1950, Christmas, in Peter Pan. That was my first pro job.
My intention through my teenage years and then going to go to university was to become a motor car designer. I applied to various car companies. Every single one wrote back and said, yeah, we'd be interested in you following a career as a car designer, but we have to say that we would not necessarily take you on as a car designer. I thought, no, I want to become an actor.
I kind of always liked performing, and I always did concerts or festivals or this or that. And I remember there was a school play and I was supposed to come down the steps and run across to this other girl, because it was a girls' school. It was my lover. And what happened? I sort of tripped, did this huge slide down the steps, landed splayed out with everything in the middle of the stage with my script everywhere and that one over there, and papers all flying over. Well, of course, the whole school erupted in laughter, right? And something happened to me, and I just remember going, I'm home.
Just thinking about how we first met, Tony, I think the friendship was developed, I think, a great deal, because we played a lot of showbiz football.
Yeah, loads of football. And I played with Prawn Connery at the back and Tommy Steele on the wing. And Bernie Breslau and Ronnie Corbett used to come on and do a double act with... Ronnie Corbett had a ladder, and he used to climb up the ladder and pour a bucket of water over Bernie Breslau. And then later on, you came along and a few other mates. Game of football and a glass of beer afterwards and a bit of fun.
In terms of Shirin and I, we knew each other. We had mutual friends and things, so we saw each other around. First time, Give Us a Break, we kind of got to know each other better on Give Us a Break. And
I think what also happened is when we were not working, we used to go to the pubs and play pool.
That's right. Yeah. We had our pool session, and you two.
We more or less got to know each other better on Give Us a Break.
We did.
You didn't tell us it was going to be this cold. You never told us to bring any gloves.
Well,
you got any gloves?
No, I've got no
cop
gloves.
that.
That reminds me of Dragonfire.
Oh, really?
Yes, how I died in Dragonfire. My character, Krakow, Edward Peel, who's playing Kane.
Yeah.
Exactly that. He was so cold, if he touched you, you died. That's how I died. And so like most people that appear on Doctor Who are non-regulars, I wound up getting bumped off. He was quite a stern, severe character, the character I played, and probably did not have a funny bone in his body, I suspect.
Oh, you lucky people. You are the chosen ones. The elite. Specially selected to join our force of mercenaries and create fear and terror wherever you go.
We were tricked.
Kane has paid 17 crowns for each of you, and he insists on value for money.
17 crowns? You couldn't even buy a dog for 17 crowns.
Precisely.
I was thinking, every time I do Doctor Who, that's twice, I get killed. First Doctor Who I did, Destiny of the Daleks. Tom Baker was the Doctor. I got zapped by a Dalek. And I think, as far as I know, I'm the only person ever on a Doctor Who to be killed by a Dalek and come back to life. Character came back a bit later.
Oh, special potion you took.
Special potion and a good script editor.
Because I remember my very
bring
first
that character back.
My very first one was my very first telly ever. And I remember it was Stones of Blood, and I'd never been in the studio before, and I remember being in this tent. And then there was this light, if I remember it, and coming out of the tent and seeing these white stones and touching them and going, dead.
There must be some mistake in the reckoning, Sprog.
The mistake's in your wallet, not my arithmetic.
Do you take Asteroid Express?
Glitz!
Venus... What? No, never heard of it.
Sabalon Glitz. I remember him dearly, fondly. I had just come back from Australia and I went to a birthday party. It was Anita Graham, whose birthday it was, and she said, I want you to meet John Nathan Turner, who's a mate of mine. I met John and we sat and we had a wonderful time, all of us at this party, quite a few of us. And after a couple of hours, he plonked himself down next to me and he said, do you think you could put on weight? I broadly laughed because it's always been my problem to lose weight. I said, I won't have any problem. I said, why do you want me to put weight on? He said, well, I've got this character in Doctor Who called Sabalon Glitz and I want you to play the part. And it was, I've never had anything like that happen in my life. I actually was offered the part while I was eating steak and thinking of having another one because he said, put some weight on. And it was wonderful. I knew I was going to go into Dragonfire because John had asked me. He also said it's going to be a new Doctor, Sylvester McCoy.
Here, you're not the Doctor.
I've regenerated. The difference is purely perceptual.
Because I'd got used to Colin. He was lovely, Colin Baker. Very jolly, friendly. I was welcomed with open arms. I remember that. There was a lovely feeling in the rehearsal room. And then Sylvester came along, who was great fun.
And why I was thrilled just to meet Sylvester because he did this brilliant act of sticking a ferret down his trousers. And to me it was one of the most, and to be, I was just a bit starstruck because, and I remember going up to him, it was just the best thing I'd ever seen. I thought he was the funniest guy. And he always had this real quirkiness. And I also remember Bonnie Langford, who was absolutely lovely. Charming, well-managed, just lovely girl.
Bonnie came into rehearsal one day and she had a belt, a very nice belt, and in the middle was a big BMW badge. And I looked at it, I said, oh, I'm surprised at you, Bonnie. She said, what? I said, I don't think that's funny, do you? I said, I've got a car now. People said, what? I said, well, stealing badges from cars just to put on your belt, it's not... No, I didn't steal that, I bought it in this. I said, yeah, sure. For the next 2 days, Bonnie kept coming. Tony, honestly, I'll take you to the thing, I'll show you the shop. I said, you obviously feeling embarrassed about it. And so I kept this stuff. It was really good. But she is the most delightful, sweet, lovely, and she just could not bear to have me even think that she would have stolen this flipped it off somebody's bonnet and stuck it on her belt and things. And so even to this day, I feel guilty. A bit.
What have we got here?
Well, this is Sashi. She's not quite canine. She hasn't got Canine's nose, and she hasn't got his brain, and she's
Very pretty. Doesn't have laser vision.
No laser vision, but she's very pretty. Customer, and I had a child, and I think I was dressed rather outrageously. I also remember about the rehearsals of that because Chris Clough was a great mate of mine, and the thing about Chris is everybody loves him. He gets on with everybody,
and he's not weak.
No, he's not
strong.
He's not. He gets on with cast, crew love him, producers love him. He's totally respected by everybody, and this fantastic, calm temperament.
There was always a good atmosphere, that's the thing. John Nathan Turner created a great atmosphere. I had a great time with Chris Clough because he was a mate anyway, and like we all do, we all get on. And so therefore, except Chris Clough used to nick all my fags.
And I remember in rehearsals, all I wanted to do was lie on the sofa and do my crossword. But every time I would lie on the sofa, they said, Shirin, get off, this is part of the set. And I'd have to keep moving around. And then I remember the day of the filming of it was your two evil nephew twins with this grin, and they'd learned that I was going to have gloop poured all over me, so they were following me around everywhere because they just wanted me to see covered in gloop. And all I remember is being covered in this gloop, with falling on the top of me, and your two nephew terrible twins smiling like that.
Shake it some more. Shake it yourself. I beg your pardon. You heard. I've never been so insulted. Bet you've never had a milkshake tipped over your head before, neither.
Actually, I quite like getting glooped.
I do remember some areas of the set. We were told we must not bear to the left or the right, must stick to this area, because if you step to the left or the right, you'd go through it, because it was made out of papier-mâché and old bog rolls, you know. And they used to make, the kids in the department there used to make marvellous models, and I used to say that, you know, Steven Spielberg would have paid them a fortune to do what they did for Doctor Who.
Now these statues, I mean, they are fantastic. I mean, I don't know a great deal about them. Shirin knows more.
Well, I think the guy who owned this place where we are and that was a guy called Sir Ratan Tata, and he was a Parsi industrialist and philanthropist. He was supposed to be a bit mad anyway. And he brought those statues over from Italy.
Well, whatever you do, don't blink.
Why? That's your call.
Why?
Why not blink?
Doctor Who?
Oh.
Maybe, maybe not. No.
I mean, this is all the modern stuff, is it? Or
Yeah, I'm going to leave you in misery. It'll come to you eventually, but yeah.
Don't blink.
All right.
I can't remember.
Clue, give us a clue.
Give you a clue.
Is it Dragonfire?
All right. Well,
Oh, is it Dragon? I thought it was. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Dragonfly.
Fire. Dragonfire.
That well-known episode of Doctor Who, Dragonfly.
I wouldn't remember if I wasn't in it.
I wouldn't remember it if I was in it.
Destiny of the Daleks, where Tom Baker was the Doctor. There were a couple of giggly moments in that, and we had these wonderful plastic ray guns and things. So, you know, we would just do so. We'd threaten each other throughout. T-Ray, don't talk to me like that, you know. And so we would give ourselves. We struggled through one or two scenes in that. If people start to go, if you catch somebody's eye and you sense the giggles go, I know I can kind of hold it quite well, but I can make it far worse for the other. Yeah. But I just keep looking at them.
Because it's worse than a dry. If you're dry, you can usually talk your way out of it. But the
I know, because it affects your voice.
Yes.
You start crying.
You're crying and you're trying to hold it in.
And the other thing, you can also pee yourself.
In Dennis Waterman's book, with me and him, in a play called Enemies, this scene towards the end of the first act, where he reveals that he's gay, and he suddenly went into Anton Diffring mode. Do you remember Anton Diffring? Who was a very camp, who played all the German Nazis in all the British films. He was very camp German, and then he started doing it like that. He suddenly camped it up, and I thought, you bugger, and I was busting to get off for a pee. I started to go as he started telling me, and the tears are coming down here, and I'm sitting on a petrol can in the middle of the desert. I'm sitting on the petrol can, and as he reveals this, usually I just went, oh no, sort of, you know, like that. And it started to happen. My khaki shorts started to go dark brown. And I thought, oh, shut up, you boys, shut up. And he came to the last line, and the curtain wouldn't come down. And I went, oh no. And I laid in the sand and flooded the sand. And Dennis has actually written this in his book about me wetting myself. That's the worst one I've ever had. And I've never done that on camera in my life. I think that's worth a bonus if it shows.
Great friendships is you've always had a spat or two, and you've come through it.
If I hadn't had both Shirin and Tony as very close friends, my life would have been very different.
It's comfortable. It's like putting on an old coat. It's a lovely feeling.
Like Shirin, then studied a bit and applied to go to drama college. Went to drama college and became an actor. So it was
and of course, a far more secure career than a car designer as well.
Yeah. This solo answer that I'm giving,
good choice, Tony. Good choice.
Because when you try to come to edit this and having people chip in from the side,
no, I thought I'd become a doctor, but I thought, well, no, it might be a bit risky. I'll become an actor.
Well, it's exactly what I was going to say. That you switch from any other career, say, now I'm going to go for some kind of security. I'll become an actor. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
That was going to be my punchline until somebody jumped the gun.
I'm going to become a computer engineer. No, too insecure.
You've now ruined this thing because it's supposed to be so you can't cut this thing, can you? Now then, Shirin.
Yeah.
You know earlier you said you like to be glooped.
Yeah. No!